Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Terry's Flooring Billy Kaylor Show, where we cover everything in Lower Afton with the Chucky Doak Black Knights football team. As always, I'm joined here with head coach Billy Kaylor. Coach,
good to see you.
How you doing this week?
Doing okay.
It's cooling down a little bit now.
I like it.
It's overcast today. It was in the 60s this morning, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it felt good for you. We've talked about it multiple times. You're used to that Georgia and South Carolina weather, and the Tennessee weather's a little cooler for you. We really don't know if we could be able to handle that Georgia and South Carolina weather. So this 60-degree weather, it's feeling really good after the summer we had, which to you was a very mild summer.
I thought it was pretty nice. Yeah, it was pretty mild. I like this cool weather. The cooler, the better for me.
That's true. And the good part is it is starting to feel like football weather.
That's
Took
right.
long enough, though. We're going into, I believe, week 5 now,
Yep,
week
yep.
6, or week 4 with that week 0. I don't know. Week 0 always throws me off, but I always disregard it once it gets about week 2 or 3 when you're in your second or third games. But you had your 4th game this past week, played South Green over there on Rebel Hill. Didn't go the way you wanted to in that one. Lost 58-14 in that one against the county rivals. Take me through that game, though. I know first quarter get down big. After that, kind of try to start chipping away. Got a lot of young players playing too. A few bright spots with a freshman quarterback in there. Just take me through the whole entire night.
Yeah, we certainly had some issues, obviously, as a team. Offensively, didn't play very well up front. And I was a little disappointed in that. I think obviously the injuries and those kids missing kind of take a mental toll. But at the end of the day, we still got to strap up and play.
Yep.
And credit to South Green. They're a really good football team. They did exactly what they should have done, which is played hard. And we just couldn't capitalize on some of the positives and had way too many negatives. There were some bright spots. Thought Kipton Ball played well. It's a lot to ask a 14-year-old first night out on Rebel Hill against a county rival, and I thought he handled himself well. Lance Turner Armstrong played pretty well for us in the defensive front as another freshman who made a big impact. And so there were certainly some bright spots. Overall, not a bunch. Wasn't the night we wanted, obviously, but some stuff to build on.
And you talked about Kipton Ball standing in there as a freshman, starting in his first game on Rebel Hill. That's a very raucous atmosphere to step into your first career start. So I'm sure he was a little nervous stepping into that game. Still a good stat line at the end of the day, 8 for 16, 118 yards and 2 touchdowns, both of those coming in the second half to James Seidel and Dominic Canlin. So take me through that second half where you were able to see some of those bright spots from him. What were you happy with in his performance?
Well, he's had a lot of poise. Obviously I told you we didn't play well up front. So there's a lot of times there where he was moving and throwing the ball on the run and moving with guys in his face. And that's a hard thing to do when you're a good quarterback and when you're an experienced quarterback, because he's going to be a good quarterback, but he's just a baby. He's a freshman, Hasn't had that happen, and you got 16, 17-year-old kids running across from you. And he was really, I thought, extremely poised, threw the ball well on the run, read the stuff we gave him really well. Had some snap issues. He handled those well. So overall, he did everything we needed him to do from a game management standpoint on Friday night for sure. And like you said, a tough atmosphere against somebody, heck, he's probably thought about playing South Green for most of his life, and on a Friday night. And to get the chance to do it as a freshman as a starting quarterback, that's tough. And I thought he handled it well.
And we talked about how in a loss like this, there's not many bright spots that you can take from it, but there are a lot of takeaways and a lot of things that you can learn from. It was one of those games going into it we mentioned last week where you didn't really know what to expect, and I don't think South Green knew what to expect because there were so many injuries the week before in the West Green game. There were a lot of new faces again stepping onto the field for the first time. You got to see a lot of those new faces in those new places. So what can you kind of learn from Friday night's game about those new players and new positions?
I think the biggest thing we learned, later in the game, I kind of challenged them at halftime. Obviously it hadn't gone the way we wanted, and sometimes that's life. Sometimes bad things happen, and you gotta buckle up and come back and keep swinging. And we kept swinging. We played harder in the second half. Played harder in the second half. So what we saw, I think, was a little bit of resilience from the young guys. What we've tried to kind of instill them this week is that the practice has to match that. And even exceed that. And thought we did a pretty good job of that today. Had a pretty good practice, getting some of those young kids and generating some physicality and some more effort just day in and day out. So there's stuff to build on. It takes a lot of maturity for a kid here sitting here and watch film on a Monday afternoon, and mamas and daddies and fans. they lie sometimes. Huddle never does. The film never does, and that's a hard pill to swallow sometimes. And I've been on both ends of that as a player and a coach. I told these kids the other day, we played Furman in, I think, 2010 in some college, and I thought I played a heck of a football game and graded like a 58. I did something wrong the whole game. And that was a little humble pie to eat right there, and I think we handled that conversation well, I thought, as a team.
And I know we mentioned also the loss to South Green is a loss that you never want to take because it's a county game, but the good thing is it's a non-region game.
That's right.
It's not as important as the game coming up this week that you've got here at home against Pigeon Forge. It's a big region game. It's a game that was very hard fought last year. I think it was 7-0 last year.
Yeah.
7-0. One of the lowest games that I've been a part of since my time here at Grassroots, and hopefully get another win in this one to start off region play. And we'll get to that in just a minute, though. We need to get a break in first before we talk about that. So we'll get a word in from our sponsors, and we'll be right back in just a second here on Grassroots Media.
At Corner Pond, the friendly and knowledgeable staff has the experience necessary to help you out regardless the need. Have an item of value you'd like to pawn or sell? Corner Pond can help. They pawn numerous items of value, including firearms, tools, ammunition, silver, coins, and much more. When you walk through their doors, you'll find well-stocked shelves full of electronics, gaming systems, fishing and hunting equipment, car audio and accessories. And don't forget about the room full of guitars and basses and amplifiers, or their outside lawn and garden equipment. Corner Pond is a case knife dealer and carries numerous used knives as well. Stop by and let the friendly staff at Corner Pond help you today at 432 East Bernard Avenue, Greenville, Tennessee.
Pizza Inn's new Right Way Buffet is open and ready for you and your family. Now with new garlic buttery crust and stuffed crust pizza, along with salads and desserts. It's the best part of your day. The all-day, everyday buffet. Only at Pizza Inn Greenville.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Terry's Flooring Billy Kaylor Show, where we cover everything in Lower Afton with the Chucky Doak Black Knights football team. As always, I'm joined here with head football coach Billy Kaylor. So you throw last week away.
Yep.
You get South Green out of the way. You watch film on Monday. You throw that behind you.
Flush it.
You get Pigeon Forge this week. First Region 1 3A game of the year. Up to this point, most important game of the year.
Yep.
Because it's the first one that matters.
Yep.
It was a slugfest last year up there in Pigeon Forge with a 7-0 final.
Yep.
You're able to take the win up there. They're going to come back hungry this year, looking to take one here in your home field.
Yep.
What do you have to do on Friday night to be able to take home the win against a very, very good Pigeon Forge football team?
We got to win the line of scrimmage. We got to cut out the mistakes. We can't have the snap issues, penalties, that kind of stuff. So play cleaner, win the line of scrimmage, and play with great effort and tackle. It's as hard a game as it is. It's an easy game, block and tackle. We got to block, we got to tackle, we got to secure the football and play clean and give ourselves a chance.
And I know last year, too, like I mentioned, it was a slugfest where a lot of your defense was able to stop a lot of their offense. So on offense, what do you expect them to run? Are they going to run a lot of the same stuff that you can expect to scheme against?
Yeah, they're going to do a lot of what they did last year. They were really, really young last year, so all those kids are now a year older and have had a year of varsity experience. So they're a very experienced and talented football team, and it's going to be very similar. Some of that gun wing tee stuff, a lot of eye candy, a lot of buck sweep, a lot of counter. So we're going to be disciplined in our linebacker play, win the line of scrimmage, squeeze, squeeze and wrong arm at defensive end and play the down block some and, try to force them out of their comfort zone a little bit. They're an extremely well-coached football team. They're extremely sound, and they don't make a lot of mistakes. So we got to force them into something and hope to capitalize.
On defense, what do you expect them to run? Because usually a lot of teams by this point, you get a little bit of film. You can watch a team and expect to know what their tendencies are, who their main go-to players are. But it's been such a whirlwind of a season for you through the first 4 weeks that I don't know if they really know what kind of team to expect whenever you show up on the football field on Friday night at 7 o'clock. So What defense do you think they're going to come out in?
Well, the good thing about playing a team that's as well coached as they are fundamentally is that they're going to do a lot of what they're going to do. And they have confidence, and it certainly appears anyway, they have confidence in what they've coached to kind of play what they're going to play and beat you in it, and or at least give themselves a good chance. And so I think they're going to give us that odd front, that 3-4 look, and probably walk down some outside backers a little bit. And it's the same game. They're talented. They're very well coached. They're very disciplined. So we've got to make sure we're clean, and you give them a chance to have a free runner, and they'll take it because they're going to be in the right spot. So we've got to be very clean and extremely physical because they are a very physical football team.
How big of a confidence boost would it be for your boys to pick up a win over Pigeon Forge?
Well, I mean, it'd be huge.
Yeah,
it'd be huge.
Because things are different looking at it on paper and once you get onto the football field. I know a few weeks ago they were ranked, I think, as high as 6th within the state. I think they fell back out of the top 10 and are the first team out without receiving votes. So technically, I guess they'd be 11th ranked in the state.
Yeah.
How big of a confidence boost would it be for those boys to be able to walk off of the field on Friday night saying that they just beat a team that was ranked just a few weeks ago?
Oh, I mean, it'd be huge. I don't even think the rankings really matter. I mean, I've been around high school football for a long time, and
it looks good on paper, but a lot of times
rankings are fun for people
Yes.
who no offense, people who are reporters
Exactly.
and fans and moms and dads and people like to talk about rankings. And at the end of the day, that don't mean a hill of beans when you're playing football. It's like that in college. Anybody can beat anybody. I mean, Notre Dame
We've
lost
seen
to
it this year
Northern
already,
Illinois.
yeah.
And high school's even worse.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, a win for us, a win's a win. It doesn't matter, and it really doesn't matter who it is. A win's a win. High school football, region wins are big,
Huge.
and they're not hard. They're not easy to come by. It doesn't matter, particularly in this region. No matter who you play, region wins big. So I don't care if we're ranked 7th, 8th, 112th, 1st. A win for us at home in our first region game, it's going to be big. If we get the opportunity to steal that, we give ourselves a chance to be successful and we take it, then, man, it's going to be a big boost for us.
I think we had talked off record, too. You have one of the toughest regions in the whole state, too.
Yeah, it's a very tough region. I mean, you look across our region, and it's Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, Unicoi.
Johnson County.
Johnson County's lighting it up. Claibor's playing good football. I mean, it's a tough dang region. So any one of those you get, I mean, they're hard to come by. You don't take them lightly.
And you got to protect the home field, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one thing that I think a lot of people mention is it's important to win that first region game, but in a sense it's more important to win those at home too, because to be able to finish first or be able to finish up towards the top where you want to be, you got to steal some on the road too, but you've got to take care of business at home too. So
That's right.
That'll be ever important on Friday night too. And again, a lot of those young players coming in, I think they'll be excited that first region game. They get those first county games in with West Green and South Green. Now they're going to get that first region game in with Pigeon Forge. So I think you're going to see a lot of excitement on Friday night.
I hope so. Like I said, we had a really good day today. So hopefully we're on the path to improving and being a better version of ourselves, and bringing some of that physicality that we need, and hopefully that pays off for us on Friday night.
I'll be there on Friday night too, so hopefully whenever I step off the field, we can talk about a win on Friday night. But
I'd love it.
To be able to pick up that win, you've got 3 keys to the game. What are they on Friday night?
I'll let you guess if you want to.
All right. Control the line of scrimmage.
You got it?
Control the penalties.
You got it?
The third one. You said it earlier in the interview, but I forgot. Because I knew whenever you said that, I said that's going to be his 3 keys right there.
Yep. Control the line of scrimmage, play clean, be physical.
Okay. I was going to guess win the turnover battle.
That's a big one too, but for us this week, we got to keep the ball, don't turn it over, play clean that way, and we got to be more physical.
All right. And that's it. That's pretty much all I've got unless there's anything else you'd like to add.
Man, I appreciate you.
Hope to see you after Friday night and talk about a win.
Yes, sir.
As always, pleasure to sit down and talk to you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Terry's Flooring Billy Kaylor Show. Look forward to seeing y'all next time here on Grassroots Media.